Admit your mistakes, review policies. Shekarau tells Tinubu. Exactly. Tinubu made a mistake from day one, right from his inaugural speech in May 29, 2023, where he included the announcement of the removal of fuel subsidy. Meanwhile, it was not part of the speech given to him. He just went there and announced it without plans in place. And people said he has gut, he has clout. That's why he's doing it. He has balls. You know what other presidents could not do. Now you remove the subsidy without plan in place, without putting mitigations in place. Now look at where it is landing everybody, and you say you are strong. It doesn't work. That is it. So now Shekarau is calling out Tinubu now to admit his mistakes, changing fuel price and even floating naira exchange rate. All of those are wrong economic decisions. And the best thing would have been to reverse all of them to status quo and start all over again, knowing fully well that the start off was very bad. But let's get into the details to hear what more Shekarau had told Tinubu. So a former governor of Kano State, Ibrahim Shekarau, on Friday charged President Bola Tinubu-led government to admit its mistakes and review its policies. The Nigerian economy has been affected by some policies like the removal of fuel subsidies and the floating of the naira exchange rate implemented by the Tinubu government. Two major killers of the economy. So the value of the naira, which is the nation's currency, has sharply fallen in the wake of these policies, prompting recent protests by Nigerians. To address the issues, Ibrahim Shekarau said Tinubu and his team should have a review of its economic policies and admit to mistakes where necessary. They will never. I've never seen a Nigerian politician that will admit to his mistakes. They will never do that. That is the truth. I've never seen any politician that will do that. Shekarau, while speaking on Channels TV Politics today, said, as we say in the teaching job, the best learning is when you learn through your mistakes. Exactly. So let the government sit back and identify what areas have you made some errors. What mistakes have you made? What pronouncements have been made in error? What policies were put in place that are really breeding this kind of crisis of hunger and high cost of living and inflation, food inflation of 40%. Admit there are some wrongs that have been committed, some errors, and probably certain things have been taken for granted. Exactly. Tinubu government will never look into that. And I tell you, especially what pronouncements that have been made wrongly. From day one, he started making wrong pronouncements. And all of these things we know. How can they give you a speech as an incoming president during your inauguration? The next thing you added your own, even when it is not written inside the speech. And there's a reason it was not added in the speech, so that probably those kind of issues are critical. They can settle down and they have time to analyze them properly and make the best of decisions. You went and added it, and pronounced it without any plan in place, without consultation, without discussing with your aides to ensure that you are on the right track. And now it has happened. And even after it has happened, you see the way things are going wrong. Rather than retracing your steps and say, okay, we will reverse this, we will reverse that. Okay, pending when this is put in place. You kept quiet and you are cruising and you are telling Nigerians to bear. And in the midst of telling Nigerians to bear, you are buying yachts, you are buying a presidential jet. Your entourage abroad is the largest in the history of presidencies in the world, and then your cabinet is the largest cabinet ever in the history of Nigerian government, and you are doing so many things. You are still appointing. You are giving palliatives that never got to the intended recipient. You said what do they call it? Students loan and students grant. We can't see all of them. You say you are issuing a grain and rice and grains from the national food stock. It never got to the people. Today now, Edo State is fighting whether they receive 20 trailer load of rice bags or not. Okay, almost across the country, people are saying they have not seen it, they have not seen it. But meanwhile, presidency is carrying the news and the rhetoric that are distributing grains across the country. So at the end of the day, you see that the government has made blunders, but they're not ready to change. They're not ready to accept their mistake. Now Ibrahim Shekarau is telling Tinubu and his government, accept your mistake, reverse some of them, put things right, and then before you move on. He will never do that. Okay? He will never do that. And some Nigerians will still come and ask Shekarau, when Buhari was there, did you tell Buhari that he made mistakes and he should reverse it? Why is it that now a Southerner is there? That time they knew that Tinubu is a Southerner. But within the South, Tinubu will tell you from the Southwest and it's his turn. Okay? But when they are looking at the whole picture from the North, they will say it's a Southerner, and Tinubu will gladly say it's the Southerner's turn and it's his turn. Eh? Like he said, is the South is the turn of the South, and in the South is the turn of the Southwest, and in the Southwest it is his own turn. How can you say that? But now things are going wrong. You never. Okay, there are a few comments here. Somebody, I would not be surprised if I see that Buhari comment here. Okay, so it's very correct. Joe Biden said he made a stupid debate, and after which he withdrew from the race. That is good. But will our own do? They will never do it here in Nigeria. He didn't. He actually wrote to the party that he is not stepping down. It is to Nancy Pelosi to build the strong representation to impress the imperative of stepping down on him. Can you imagine? Right decision is not easy to make. Okay? He doesn't have the majority, but benefit majority unintelligent people mistake easy decision because they are what? Short-sighted. To our president, you are short-sighted like majority. That's why you are the right man for the job. Can you imagine what this one is saying now? If you go and check him, his life is not in any way better. But they're going to support the bad government. You are not short-sighted like many people, Mr. President. It takes time for them to see the idea behind removing subsidy. That's why it is not everybody that can be president. Can you imagine what this one is writing? Wow. Some of our leaders don't know that Nigerians have no interest in the ethnics that is on power, but we have interest in the output of his government. We are lamenting if outside rules well, okay, they will follow him. If Igbo man rules well, they will follow him. There is issue because of the man in power, bad administration, and that is it. That is it. Change your bad policies. We are too patient enough. And the last person here said, I hope they will not be too wise in their own opinion. God bless Nigeria. Of course, Nigerian leaders are very, very wise in their own opinion. They will never listen to anything. So thank you for listening, and let's have a comment over Shekarau's call for Tinubu to reverse his policies and own up to his mistakes.